Hey guys, Dr. Rob here. I wanted to welcome you today to my next whiteboard session. Today we're going to talk about the 7 main signs or symptoms that a person will present with when they have adrenal fatigue. And one of the first things is simply fatigue. And it's most noticeable in the mornings or after lunch. So they wake up in the morning, they're tired. It's harder for them to get out of bed. They're the snooze button king or queen. When we come lunchtime, they'll eat lunch, and usually after lunch they'll crash. They feel like they need to take a nap. Then as we go a little bit later on in the evening, an interesting phenomena happens, which is they tend to wake up. When the rest of us are kind of going to sleep, they're, on their iPhones or on their phone, kind of waking up, want to be in communication with the rest of the world. The next thing that you'll see is insomnia. And the most typical type of insomnia for a person with adrenal fatigue is they wake up around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and have difficulty falling asleep. They might be awake for 15 minutes, a half hour, an hour, 2 hours, or their sleep is just not restful. They're in bed 6 or 7 hours, but they've tossed and turned and they just wake up feeling groggy and not rested. Some adrenal cases do have their mind racing where they just can't fall asleep and they'll turn to journaling and things like that. But the most common type of insomnia connected with adrenal fatigue is that wake up around 2 or 3 in the morning, about 4 or 4.5 hours after falling asleep, and then having difficulty falling back to sleep. The next symptom that we see is belly fat. So the weight gain typically gets distributed around the midsection, and one of the reasons why is there's problems with the balance of cortisol in the body. And cortisol is that belly fat storing hormone. So when someone has adrenal fatigue, they gain weight, the weight is typically around the belly. They usually also have some type of unresolved pain or inflammation, like something hurts. The adrenal glands are the anti-inflammatory glands of the body, and they help to reduce inflammation. So when they're weak, the general inflammation that we all experience just through day-to-day life, it can't be properly dealt with. So they typically have some type of unresolved pain or inflammation. Sometimes they'll swear it's from an old accident or injury, but really what it is, it's just the adrenals not being able to properly cope with inflammation. The next thing that we typically see are cravings, more specifically for salts or sugars. One of the reasons why it's those two is the adrenal glands release a hormone called aldosterone, which affects your ability to properly retain sodium. When the adrenals are weak, there can be problems with the hormone aldosterone, and as a result of that, the person will then start to crave salty foods. They crave sugars because the adrenal glands help to maintain your blood sugar in between meals. When those glands become weak, the sugar sometimes can fall, and the adrenal fatigued person can get a little bit hypoglycemic in between meals. They can get hangry in between meals. They can get dizzy, lightheaded, shaky if they go too long without eating. When we look at the person's face that has adrenal fatigue, their face sometimes is fuller or rounder. Dr. Guyton, who's a physiologist, described this as a moon face. The face can also start to grow hair in a female. Dark circles under the eyes or puffy eyes are often seen. So the next one is anxiety or irritability, and/or irritability. So they can have excessive anxiety or worry where the mind just doesn't shut off, right? They're always trying to think of something. They're always trying to work something out. Their brain is always kind of active and going, and they never seem to calm down. As a result, they can sometimes feel tired but wired at the same time. So they're tired, they want to go to sleep, but they can't because they're too wired. They can also be irritability, like I was stating. So their fuse is shorter. Things tend to get on their nerves more, and things tend to bother them more. So those are the 7 big signs of adrenal fatigue. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some good information out of it. I'll see you at the next whiteboard session.